Hello everybody and welcome to part 7 of What If Superboy was in MHA, or in other words, what if the DC Universe and MHA were combined through the lens of Superboy as the main character. So yeah, part 7. This episode will not be dealing with any canon events really, it's more a bit of separate storylines that meshes into other stuff. But it's still a pretty interesting episode. Please don't skip it. Please watch it. And not many people are gonna make it this far because this series has pretty bad ratings. Yet still, if you do enjoy it, please like, subscribe. God knows this series needs it. It literally does like half as well as any other one. Yeah, funny enough. Still, I'm making it. I will finish what I started eventually. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy this video. As for Kurogiri, I just want you all to be prepared. The main DNA sample and body belongs to a dead hero of this school, Oboro Shirakumo, Nightwing said, causing Aizawa to react. After the USJ, they were discussing their knowledge on the group that attacked the school. Just the accusation that his old friend who died was behind this outraged Aizawa. He slammed the table. It wasn't possible. Shirakumo was a noble man who gave his life to save some children. Just for proposing the idea, Aizawa glared at Nightwing. He was angry and understandably so. Unconsciously, he even activated his quirk. How dare you state that Shirakumo is behind this? Aizawa shouted, tears starting to slip down his face. I'm sorry to say I know how you must feel, but the samples found match. The quirk has likely been mutated, but the DNA sample still matches Shirakumo's, Nightwing explained in a soft tone. Aizawa sat back down. On the surface it seemed like he calmed down, but in truth he was deep in thought, revisiting the memories of when he himself attended UA. In a way, he wanted to escape the present and return to a simpler time. The meeting passed him by. He stopped paying attention. He didn't know how to process it. Hey, Shota. Shota? Midnight said, poking at Aizawa, trying to get him out of thought. What is it? He responded, coming back to reality. The meeting's over, Midnight responded. It's time to go. Yeah, it'd be illogical to stay here all night, Aizawa said while getting up. Eraserhead, I can tell the development of Kurogiri being connected to Shirakumo is disturbing. If you need to, you can take a couple days off to process this properly. I'm sure Richard can cover for you until then, Nezu suggested, leaving the conference room himself. Thanks, Aizawa responded. I know it's a shock, but I get the sense that he isn't wrong, Midnight noted. I know, Aizawa said, a determined and scary look appearing on his face. I'm going to find him, Kayama. I swear it. Midnight just looked at her friend with a concerned look on her face. She knew that in the end it would be up to her to tell the news to Yamada. Aizawa returned home. As soon as he did, he went to his bed and crashed on it. He needed rest. Not only had he fought off a group of villains the previous day and undergone treatment, he also now had to deal with the revelation of his dead friend being a villain. He laid on his bed, wanting nothing more than to drift off to sleep. He looked up and spied an old picture of him, Yamada, and Shirakumo, smiling while eating lunch on the rooftop of UA. Of course, he wasn't smiling as brightly as them, but still. Time to get to work, he said, determination on his face. The 3 dingoes of UA will be together again. I swear it. Aizawa pulled out his laptop and started looking at reports and crime statistics, looking for anything that could relate to Kurogiri. He found some incidents that had a mysterious undertone to them. Hands appearing out of nowhere in a fight and enhancing the fighter was the most prominent one. From there it was basic detective work and following leads. For 3 days he went on looking, getting in touch with his old contacts and learning what he could. On the way, he encountered some thugs and took down smaller villains, but nothing that would stray him off his mission. He would even interrogate some of the thugs, but none of them knew anything. He had been off the grid for 3 days, not attending class or even staying in contact with anyone. So, worried about him, President Mike came by to give a visit. He knocked on the door to Aizawa's apartment, but there was no answer. "Yo, Eraser? Everything alright?" he asked, opening the door with a spare key. The house was pitch dark. The only light was a computer screen. President Mike tried taking a step inside, but found the floor covered with papers and documents. Great. He's this far gone, huh? He thought, seeing the state of the room. He couldn't spot Aizawa among the darkness, so he turned on the light. Once the lights turned on, the true mess of the room was in full display. Aizawa was sleeping on the couch, clothes on and ready to go on patrol again, a book having fallen from his hand. "Yo, Eraser!" he shouted, waking Aizawa up. He sprang out of the couch in surprise. "Oh, it's just you, Yamada," Aizawa said, waking up. "5 more minutes." "Is everything alright, Shota?" President Mike asked, concerned for his friend. I'm getting closer, Yamada. I'm gonna find him," Aizawa responded, grabbing the notebook and flipping through it again. "Dude, you're totally obsessed again. You need to chill," President Mike said. "I get that you're hurt because of Shirakumo, but you need to get it together, man. You have students you have to take care of, not to mention you have to take care of yourself. You were like this right after Shirakumo died too, for a whole year. I really don't want to see you go there again." The words seemed to have gotten to Aizawa, at least a bit, since the next day he returned to class. He went about his regular business, teaching the students of Class 1A what he could, but he spent his free time conducting his investigations. Things were a bit slow, but he was still advancing. After running into a dead end, he thought it would be best to get his mind off of it a bit, so he started looking into the hero killer, who might know a thing or two. After the sports festival, he found out that one of his students' family members was taken down by the hero killer, so he looked into that more intensely. He took a couple more days off, investigating on his own, getting more and more information. During his investigations, he took 2 more days off. "You got your costumes, right?" Aizawa asked as he, along with his students, arrived at the train station. He had brought his own equipment, of course, since he did plan on an expedition himself. "Remember, you aren't allowed to wear them out in public yet, but don't drop them." "Gotcha!" Ashido said. "Speak properly, Ashido. It's yes, sir," Aizawa scolded. "Yes, sir," Ashido responded with a pessimistic tone. The students all set out towards different cities, ready for the internships they were about to undergo. After all his students left, Aizawa hopped on a train heading to Hosue. Once he arrived, he started looking for the hero killer. After a day and a half of searching, he found him, just as he was abducted into a portal by Kurogiri. Aizawa tried to latch onto the villain before he escaped, but he was too slow. He landed in the alleyway and slammed his hand against the concrete in frustration. "Damn it!" he said. Still, it wasn't a complete waste of time. He did learn the two were connected. Knowing that both parties were going to be out of play for a while, Aizawa rested on a nearby rooftop. He was woken up by a loud crash. He looked over the rooftop, spotting fire in the city and a flying Nomu there. They made their move, he thought after witnessing the start of the Hosue incident. "I'm Ingenium!" Aizawa heard a faint scream and turned his attention to it. While turning around, far away he spied 2 men on a water tower. He knew it was them. It had to be. But the scream of his students also had him disconcerted. He approached the situation but saw another one of his students stepping in to assist. Knowing they wouldn't die from the encounter, he decided to make his way to the water tower. "Oh, Eraserhead! How annoying," Shigaraki said, staring the hero down. What are you and your brats even doing here? Shouldn't you be in your little palace? Aizawa tightened his grip on the scarf, but he couldn't stop himself from blinking. The moment Shigaraki's quirk came back into effect, the scarf started crumbling away, turning to dust. Aizawa pulled out his knife, cutting part of the scarf off so it would still remain effective. This caused his grip on Kurogiri to loosen. Kurogiri stood up, throwing Aizawa off him, but he managed to regain his footing before falling off the small surface. Kurogiri activated his portal, wanting to get the two out of there, but before he could, Aizawa glared at him, negating his quirk. He then looked at Shigaraki, canceling his as well. "I'm not letting you get out of here," he said, a determined look on his face. "You hear me, Shirakumo? I'm not letting you go." "You really are cool, aren't you, Eraser? But that's getting a bit too emotional," Shigaraki said, lunging at Eraserhead, hitting him with his shoulder, trying to push him off of the water tower. After a couple moments of the three struggling, Aizawa was forced to blink. Before he could regain his advantage, Shigaraki put his hand to the water tower, making it crumble away. Water came falling out as the three combatants lunged towards the ground. "Now, Kurogiri, get us out of here," Shigaraki ordered. Kurogiri obliged, opening a portal below himself and Shigaraki. "I told you, I'm not letting you go," Aizawa shouted, shooting out his scarf to grab onto his old friend. He yoinked at the scarf just as Shigaraki fell through the portal. Shigaraki came crashing out of the portal, landing inside his bar. "No!" he shouted, getting back up and running towards the portal, wanting to retrieve his ally, but the portal closed before he could. The moment Kurogiri was yoinked, Aizawa cancelled out his quirk and hit him with the knee over his head, knocking him out. A little over an hour after the incident began, it was resolved. The Nomu, along with Kurogiri and the hero killer, were taken into custody. The students who participated in taking down the hero killer were scolded and a cover was created in order to keep their involvement a secret. Some were given medical attention, but no one had suffered drastic injuries. Recuperating quickly, the students all promptly returned to their internships, using them to learn as much as they could in the time they had left. Before anyone knew it, the week came to an end and the weekend began. The day before school was back in session, late at night in Japan, but during the middle of the day in the US, something happened. A meteorite, one that no human machine had previously detected, fell from the sky and landed in the Atlantic Ocean. It was an odd occurrence that made many curious, so the scientific community headed there immediately, wanting to examine the meteorite. After pulling it out of the ocean, they started testing and probing the meteorite. They had some very interesting results, concluding that the metal the meteorite was made of didn't exist on Earth. They wanted to conduct more testing, so they used a laser to grab a small sample. Little did they know, but by doing so they had freed the creature that was trapped within the rock. Doomsday had just been unleashed on the world. The beast set its sight on the immediate vicinity, killing everyone around it. Not one scientist survived to tell the tale. After causing such carnage, it wasn't satisfied, so it went on a rampage along the East Coast. Knowing what damage the monster had already caused, heroes were called to deal with the situation. They fought valiantly, but were slaughtered by the monster, who just killed one after another. In the end, all they managed to accomplish was freeing the beast from its restraints. As the monster approached a more populated area, higher profile and more powerful heroes showed up to try and stop the monster's rampage. Heroes like Captain Celebrity joined the scene, but they were unable to stop it. Those who were lucky at least managed to survive the encounter. The beast eventually set its sights on the most populated city around, Metropolis, just as the #1 hero was being called. Superman had been dealing with problems in the West Coast. First, he had to fight the Toyman, but when he received the message, he was fixing a reactor leak. The moment he got the call, he sped up the process and flew over to Metropolis, wanting to defeat the monster. Superman crashed into the city, hitting the monster as soon as he did, pummeling him through 30 meters of concrete and buildings. but that did little but annoy the monster. "Huh, you're a tough one, aren't you?" Superman commented. Up until this point, he rarely had to face stronger opponents, but now he was up against someone just as strong, maybe even stronger. Doomsday responded by roaring. It then punched Clark. Superman blocked the attack but felt it pretty heavily. He struck back, shooting his heat vision at the monster after. The fight lasted 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 19 seconds. During this time, Superman fought with all he could, unleashing his full power and strategy at this monster. But the monster responded in kind. The fight claimed many lives and caused millions of property damage, but Superman managed to fight off the beast, even killing it. But it came at a heavy cost, for Superman had to lay down his life in order to defeat this Doomsday. A couple hours later, John woke up and went to the kitchen to prepare his breakfast. The weekend had arrived and he still had a day until school started again. It was time to relax and prepare. He grabbed some cereal from a cabinet and poured it into a bowl, putting the milk in after. His attention was turned to his cell phone as it started vibrating. He'd gotten a bunch of texts from different people. He opened the most recent one. It was from Damian and read, "Turn on the news." He went to the next one from Maya reading, "Did you see what happened? Go to Network 52. John grabbed his cereal and walked to the living room, turning on the news. A sudden sense of shock overcame him. He couldn't believe what he was reading. What had happened? The bowl slipped from his hand, slowly falling to the ground while John read the headline again. Doomsday, the death of the beacon of hope. As the bowl hit the ground, John fell to his knees, water pouring in his eyes as the recorded images of the final battle were shown. "Dad?" John asked, a crack in his voice. And that's the end of the video. Hope you all enjoyed. Again, the death of Superman and the Shirakumo thingy, the Aizawa's best friend being Kurogiri, which was revealed in the manga a while ago. At least now I have more context and had more time to think about it, because last time in the previous version, I just added it as a spur of the moment thing. So this really changes the continuity of things, and yeah, how things are going to play out. I mean, the moment Aizawa found out, my thought was, he's going to want to do this. So the first half of the episode focused on why he missed class, which he'd never done before. He went from 0 absences to 5, guys. It can't be! I tell you, it can't be! So yeah, in the regular version of events, Shirakumo was already apprehended when they found out. In this one, he helps apprehend him, which deals to other stuff. Still, that's kind of something that's going to change a lot of stuff. The death of Superman is important for character development and the main plot of the story, because technically All Might needs to be the last column of society to crumble if and when they eventually do, because without Kurogiri, they can't really invade the forest training camp or other stuff. They have to plan something more better. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and all that. You can also check out my Discord link in the description below. Become a beta reader and stuff. Superboy doesn't have that many. Yeah. Shorter video. That is because, I don't know, the video's length is usually determined by me saying, I'm going to put this much content into this. This is what's going to happen in this video. And then me elaborating on it and making the script around it. And so sometimes I get a 50-minute video, even though I'm like, no, I don't want to record that. And sometimes I get a 15-minute video, like this one, which is a lot nicer to record. But now I feel like this is not enough. Still, it's what it ended up as. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed this shorter video. And until next time, everyone, have an absolutely fantastic day. Bye!